Hey, what's up, everybody? Uncle Mad here. Bit of a surprise Sunday morning live stream. Wanted to get in and get my NFL picks for the weekend on the record because I know people are living and dying, riding or fading or following those picks. Not really. I actually did a live stream Friday night. I don't know what happened to it. It seems to have just completely vanished from YouTube. It just disappeared. It was there. I did it. I recorded it. I know at least one person commented on it, so I know it existed, but it's just vanished from YouTube. I don't know how that happened. That's such a weird thing. You never know with the YouTubes what's going to happen on these YouTube streets out there. But wanted to jump on, just talk about, we got the Titans game coming up today, so that'll be a big one. And then we've got a whole slate of NFL. I've got the Jaguars Bills game on the TV right now as they're about to kick off over in London. Just to go ahead and get into that one before we get into all the other stuff, since it's about to kick off, I'll go ahead and give you my pick for that one so you can have it on the record. I am going with the Jaguars. See what the spread is right now. I'm going off of DraftKings for all of these. I'm going to go Jaguars plus 5.5. I just think the advantage of them being over there for a full week, like they played in London last week, so they've been over there practicing, living, doing everything this whole week over there already. And the Bills flew over, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday. Either one sounded like kind of a quick turnaround to try to get over there and get acclimated to the time change and all of that. But Jaguars have been over there for a week. They played pretty well last week against the Falcons, but I think the Falcons maybe stink. Maybe they're not good. So, and the Bills, they're coming off a big emotional game of beating the Dolphins, kind of beating them pretty comfortably. Do they have a little bit of a letdown and a little bit of a come back down to earth game with all that other stuff going on? 5.5 is a lot of points for these London games. They're always just weird. Things are never go the way you expect them to in these type of games. So I'm sticking with that pick and going with the Bills. The Jaguars plus 5.5 for time change reasons. And as somebody who will be making that jump over there shortly, going over to London next week, I am. Said that in a weird way. Don't know why that sentence came out in that order. I'll be over there next week, so I'm not looking forward to the potential jet lag, the potential adjustment that'll come with the trip. But I also don't have to play an NFL football game when I go over there. I have to just watch an NFL football game when I go over there. So a lot easier, a lot more friendly confines for me when it comes to my trip versus what the Bills have to do. So I'm not going to really bet the Jags plus 5.5. Like I said, I'm just giving out picks of what I would bet if I was going to bet. What I actually do have on this game is I bet the over, because I saw the stat over and over again all week long that the under almost always hits when NFL games are played at Wembley, but this game is played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where the Titans-Ravens game will be next week. And in the history of games being played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the over is 4-1. And obviously, we know the Bills can score. The Jags, if their offense gets going, if the Bills' defense is a little jet lagged, they can put up a few points. I think I got it at 47.5 for the over. So that is the actual bet I have in this game. Holy crap, they just showed a guy in like a full suit with like a weird Jaguar mask thing that looked like Carol Baskin's husband. That was weird. Well, it's going to be something. They're doing the national anthem of America in London. Don't know that I've ever seen that they did this. I didn't know that this was something they did. Hang on. Okay, back into it. All right, so here's what I've got planned for this live stream this morning, kind of the order of the rotation. Going to share my thoughts on the Titans Colts game coming up today at noon. I'm reffing a soccer game at noon, though, so I will not be there to watch the Titans game live. I'm not going to be there because it's in Indianapolis, but I'm going to watch it on delay later today. So no spoilers. Nobody tweet out anything that actually happened in the game. That way I don't accidentally see anything and get the game spoiled for me before I get home later. So we'll go through that. I'll go through the Titans game. Then after that, I will go with my updated NFL power rankings, new thing we added last week on the Friday night live stream. That was a guest appearance by Justin to get the pee bottle that we use to clean up the pee when the dogs pee on the floor. Mostly moo, just moo pretty much. So power rankings will come up next, and I'll go through and give all my picks for all the NFL games, and then I'll share some quick previews, quick updates about what's going on with my trip to London next week, so you'll know what to look forward to on the channel from that regard. Let's get right into it. Titans Colts today. Titans, I believe, are 2.5-point favorites. Is that right? Yeah, Titans 2.5-point favorites. The most zigzag back and forth team we've seen all season. Terrible first game against the Saints. Really good second week against the season's too long. I can't remember who we played. Who did we play, Oli? Chargers. Golly, beat them in overtime. Next week, stinker against the Browns. Last week, beat the crap out of the Bengals. This week, Colts. On the road, so we're 2-0 at home. 0-2 on the road. 1 on the even weeks, lost on the odd weeks. This is a road game, odd week. And here's the thing. There's a lot of local media that think we match up well against this Colts team, that think this is a year where we're probably going to be clearly better than the Colts. And I don't see it, because the one thing that scared me that I've heard over and over again this week is that Anthony Richardson leads the NFL in explosive plays by a quarterback. I believe that's officially runs of 12 or more yards or passes of 20 or more yards, I think is correct for that stat. And that's the thing that I think the Titans defense is the most susceptible to. We set up to just let you dink and dunk, try to take small stuff, try to get little chunk yards all day long, and try to avoid the big plays. But what's killed us this season has been the big plays. Saints week 1, Olave broke off a couple. Shaheed, I believe, is the other little receiver's name that they had that killed us a little bit. Amari Cooper, busted coverages. Deshaun Watson escaping sacks. Definitely can see Anthony Richardson being able to do that. I think our pass rush should be able to get to him, but can they get him down? They couldn't do that against Deshaun Watson. That was the big difference from the Browns game to the Bengals game, is Deshaun Watson was able to escape the pressure. Joe Burrow is a statue right now with his injured calf and either had to get rid of the ball quick or go down. So I don't like the matchup with Anthony Richardson. I think the one, maybe thing the Titans could potentially do, and this is something they don't necessarily have a history of doing, is throw complicated looks at him, confuse him, because that's the thing, is if he's got one thing going against him, it's his inexperience. I think he only started last year was his first year starting for Florida, and he only started maybe 7 or 8 games, something like that. And then this year, right into the gate in the NFL. So he's really high level, only got 10, 12 starts under his belt. So if we can confuse him, throw some, looks he's not ready for at him, that could help. If we can make him make some bad throws, that'd be the key. But I don't like the idea of him with the ball in his hands versus our defense. The most, like I said, quarterback with the most explosive plays in this NFL season so far versus a defense that is very susceptible to big plays. It sounds like a stupid thing. If we just don't give them any big plays, we'll win the game. But I think the Titans, more than most teams, seem to suffer from big plays. We just can't recover from them as well as other teams can. And when teams don't grind out games against us, we don't face a lot of 12 play drives that run off a lot of clock. That's kind of our MO. So obviously Jonathan Taylor, that's the big story. He's back this week, but they've said he's going to essentially be on a snap count, and he's never really done well against the Titans anyway. And coming off a injury layoff and everything, I wouldn't expect him to have a huge impact on this game. He'll have a good run or two here or there, but our run defense is solid. It's always pretty much kept him in check. And, if he's only going to get 10 to 15 snaps, I'm not too worried about him in this game. Like I said, once again, it's all about Anthony Richardson to me. Can we limit him? And then on the other side of the ball, can we be smart with the ball and not do stupid things to kill ourselves? Getting Kyle Phillips back, which could help the offense. He's been the missing link. The one game we basically ever saw him in, he was clearly a favorite target of Tannehill. He's a different player than what we have from our other receivers who can give us a different dynamic. Burks is out again. Skoronski is back, which could help the offensive line. MPF was cleared from suspension, but he did not make the roster for this game yet. I guess they felt he needed another week to build back up to full speed, full strength. So could see some improvement in the offensive line with Skoronski going back in. One more week for MPF, although I don't know how much he improves it because he kind of stunk down the stretch last year. But we're getting some weapons back too. We're getting some things back too. I think it'll be a close game. Like there's one Football and Other F Words is a really good podcast I listen to that covers the Titans, and they were borderline saying it might be a blowout for the Titans. And I can't see that. I don't see any way this is a blowout for the Titans. I mean, our secondary especially worries me so much when you're going to play an explosive offense like the Colts just has the potential to be. It terrifies me on that regard. So score prediction. God. I'll go 28-24 Colts. That'd be my score prediction for this one. So I just feels like everything's coming up Colts lately. Like they had this crazy offseason where it looked like they were imploding. The owner was calling out the running back, was like saying he'd rather send a whale into a habitat with his money than pay a running back. And now that running back's back. He got a good contract. The quarterback that they stumbled into looks like he might be something special. So they had to do their penance finally after 20 years of successful quarterbacks. They had to wander in the wilderness for a couple of years, but it looks like they finally, once again, lucked their way back into being a good team and a solid team. So I'm not prepared to think the Titans can beat them. So 28-24 Colts prediction there. All right, let's go through the power rankings updated from last week. Not too much change. I think everything kind of went mostly how I thought it would last week, so I didn't change too much. A few little switches here and there. I think last week we started at the top and went down. Let's start at the bottom and go up. Number 32, the Bears beat the Commanders on Thursday Night Football, but what happens on Thursdays stays on Thursdays. It's always a weird night. Those games are always weird. Commanders aren't very good, so beating them doesn't really impress me that much. And they almost blew the game. They kept giving the Commanders chances to come back into it and find life in that game. So I keep the Bears at 32. Broncos still at 31. I think they suck. Panthers at 30. They might suck worse than the Broncos, but I think the Broncos, I don't know. Raiders 29. Commanders 28. Vikings down to 27. Jets 26. Giants 25. That feels too high now that I'm looking at it. I think they might just get demolished in their next game. So they might be going crumbling down the list. Probably should have the Jets ahead of them, honestly. Too late now. The rankings are official. 24, I've got the Patriots. They stink. Mac Jones is a bum. 23, I've got the Cardinals. Disappointed last week in their performance after I kind of got a little bit on the bandwagon a little bit with that one. Of course, should have seen it coming, though. As soon as I'm like, ooh, this team's frisky. This team might be better than we thought they were. This team might be interesting. They go out and kind of like, no, they do still kind of stink. 22, they've got the Saints. I think they're terrible. I think they're the most overrated team in the league this year. 21, speaking of overrated, got the Chargers. They should have lost 2 in a row. I don't know what their coach is doing. I don't know how their coach – I think their coach is trying to get fired. I think he's sick of being there and knows he's out of his depth. Because 2 weeks in a row, they've gone for it on 4th down, deep in their own territory, late when they had the lead in the game, gave the ball to the other team with a chance to win it. And both weeks, they've gotten bailed off by bad quarterbacks throwing interceptions in the end zone. It's crazy how lucky the Chargers have got the last 2 weeks, but they still stink. Falcons 20, and I feel like they're on the verge of going lower. Last week, I said they might be kind of Titans light, but I think they're Titans light, but their quarterback's not good at all. So that's, at least we've got a passable quarterback who in the right situations can be successful. I don't know that Desmond Ridder can do that. Although the thing to watch today is throughout his, I think, high school, college, maybe not high school, but college and NFL career so far, he's undefeated at home. So, and they're at home today. So we'll see. Steelers 19, another, like I keep saying, I feel like these teams should be lower, but some teams have to be higher. I feel like the Steelers maybe should be lower, but I still got faith in Tomlin and his group here. This is where I may live to regret my rankings. I got the Colts 18. I literally have the AFC South all in a row. Colts 18, Titans 17, Jags 16, Texans 15. And you can kind of pick and choose your order there, but that feels appropriate. Just to have all 4 of the AFC South teams smack in the middle of the power rankings because they all are probably smack in the middle of the mediocrity that they exist in. No real reason to differentiate there. Colts probably are going to jump to the top after they beat the Titans this week. Texans have a winnable game. Jags playing right now. Had to punt on their first drive. Not great for the over bet that I just said I made on this game, but we'll go on. Bengals 14. I probably should reduce them down, but I'm just a Joe Burrow truther. I'm going to keep them high until we officially declare that their season is a bust. I'm going to have them higher than they should be. Packers 13. Definitely have them too high. I don't remember when I did these rankings, but I definitely have some teams higher than they should be right now. But like I said, somebody's got to be high on this list. Maybe there's just a lot of mediocrity in the NFL this year. So like everybody's kind of higher than they should be in the rankings because everybody's kind of mediocre. 12 Buccaneers. I'm going to skyrocket them if they get a big week this week because, like I said, the Baker Mayfield, people are finally like circling back around to what I've been saying all season. The Baker Mayfield is still good, and he just needed to be in the right situation. Rams at 11, Seahawks at 10, Browns at 9, Lions at 8, Chiefs at 7. That's low. Cowboys at 6, Dolphins at 5, Ravens at 4, Bills at 3, 49ers at 2, Eagles at 1. I was very tempted to flip the Eagles and the 49ers this week just because, the Eagles are winning in unimpressive fashion, and the Bills, since that stinker week 1 against the Jets, have looked like the really good version of the Bills that we kind of expect them to be. Or the 49ers. The 49ers have looked unstoppable, but the Bills too. Bills have looked good too. But the 49ers have looked like a juggernaut, unstoppable. Eagles kind of skimming their way through a few wins here, but I kind of have the same philosophy of like why Georgia's still ranked number 1 in college football is like until somebody beats the team that you have in your head as the best team, it's going to take something significant for anybody to jump them without them losing. 49ers play the Cowboys tonight. If the 49ers comfortably beat the Cowboys tonight, they'll probably jump the Eagles in my power rankings next week. So we'll see what happens with that. But to figure out if that's a possibility, if that's going to happen, we got to go to the bets. Let's go to the picks. From DraftKings, all odds are from DraftKings. Here are my official picks for this week. As I said already, I'm going Jags plus 5.5 in the game against the Bills. That's still the line now, live line. The game's going on. It's 0-0. Both teams have punted. Not great for the over. I had the over 48.5. Oh, no, over 47.5. So not great start for the over, but on the side, I would go Jaguars 5.5. Giants and the Dolphins. Dolphins minus 12.5. You know what? I'm going to lock this in and bet this right now because I think the Giants stink. Like the scene on the sideline of like Brian Daboll throwing a tablet at Daniel Jones just in frustration that Daniel Jones can't do anything. I think the Dolphins are angry. They want to bounce back after their loss to the Bills last week. Lock it in. I'm going Dolphins 12.5. And I'd probably go that all the way up to like 14 because I think they're going to kill the Giants. Panthers, Lions. Lions 9.5-point favorite. I think the Panthers stink. The Lions are really, really kind of putting it together. Like I was a little skeptical coming into the season about them. It's one of those, I think I said, until the Lions do it, I'm always going to think the Lions are just the Lions. But good run so far this season. Beat the Chiefs, beat a couple other teams comfortably. They beat bad teams comfortably, which is what you're supposed to do if you're a good team. So I'm starting to think the Lions might be a good team. The Panthers are a bad team. 9.5 is a lot of points, but I'm taking it. Lions, 9.5. Titans, Colts. I already said my prediction for this game is Colts 28, Titans 24. So got to go Colts plus 2.5 there. Ravens, Steelers. Ravens still doing a lot of injuries, but they overcame them to comfortably beat the Bengals last week. Steelers have been struggling, and now Kenny Pickett's got an injury that may slow him down and make him even worse than he's already been. Steelers as a home dog, though, is so tough to bet against. Like Mike Tomlin back against the wall. Does he pull something out of his butt here? I don't think so. I'm going to go Ravens minus 4.5. I think they win that one comfortably. That's like a 24-10, 24-17 game. So should be able to cover the 4.5 pretty easily there. Texans, Falcons. Falcons, 2-point favorites over the Texans at home. I'm very confused by this one. This is like the confusing line of the week because the Texans have stomped the last 2 teams they played. The Falcons got demolished last week in London, but it's London, and they're playing. They're not getting a bye coming off of London. That's kind of crazy too. So everything about this game screams Texans because the Texans have looked really good. The Falcons have looked really bad. The Falcons had to come back from London. They're not getting a bye. It's a home game. Why are the Falcons favored in this game? I'm really confused right now because everything tells me take the Texans. But the fact that the Falcons are a 2-point favorite scares me, and something weird's going on that I don't fully know. I don't fully understand. Don't overthink it. I'm going Texans plus 2. Saints, Patriots. This game sucks. I think both these teams suck. It's going to be the suck fest. Like the best bet is probably the under 39 because I think I saw a stat that neither of these teams has scored 20 points this season. So if that trend continues, the under should hit easily because if neither team can score 20, there's no way the game can get to 39. But I'm picking sides here. That's what I'm doing on these picks each and every week. So in a matchup of two sucky teams, I'll favor the team that has the better coach. So I think I'm going to keep throwing out stats that I've heard this week. That Dennis Allen, the Saints coach, for his 2 tenures as a head coach, I believe once with the Raiders and now with the Saints, he is statistically one of the worst head coaches in NFL history, I believe, win percentage wise. And then he's going against Bill Belichick in New England, 17, 18 wins away from being the greatest coach of all time, and probably already is, based on Super Bowl wins. So situation like this, 2 bad teams, take the better coach. We're going Patriots -1.5. Eagles and Rams. This one's interesting. Rams, I believe, are getting Cooper Kupp back today. They've looked solid throughout the season so far, a lot better than people would have thought. It looks like they're back to maybe not the Super Bowl season Rams, but they're back to being a competitive team. They'll be in the chase for the playoffs if they can stay healthy. Eagles, like I mentioned earlier, look really good. They're really solid. They've got everything you'd want in a good team, but they've, not been able to quite really push teams out of the way. Rams 4-point underdog at home. I'm going with the Rams, and I think I would sprinkle a little on the money line because I think the Eagles could be on upset alert here. I think this could be the game the Eagles finally mess around and get caught. So Bengals, Cardinals. Bengals -3 at Arizona. We saw the Bengals look terrible and get destroyed by the Titans last week. Cardinals are going to try to do something very similar to what the Titans did. They're going to go heavy on the run game. They're going to try to get to Joe Burrow, pressure him. There's reports out this morning that Joe Burrow is nowhere close to 100%, but he's just going to keep playing through it. Like I said, I've got the Bengals ranked higher than they probably should be in my power rankings. I'm a Bengals truther. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. I don't know, but my little sniffing out of that the Cardinals might be sneaky okay is coming into my brain here. And I feel like after last week, my reaction to the Bengals game with the Titans last week, I feel like the Bengals are in that mode where things are probably going to get worse before they get better because it doesn't seem like they're close to getting back with Joe Burrow's health. And now T. Higgins is also out for them this week. So this is probably my riskiest play of the day, but I'm going Cardinals +3. Chiefs and Vikings, the Taylor Swift game of the week. I don't think she's going to be at this one. At least they haven't publicized if she is or not. But Vikings stink. The Chiefs are coming off a bad game. I forgot to go through my picks of last week, but one of the picks last week that I stand by and believe I got completely right was Chiefs against the Jets. Everything was going right. The Chiefs were going to blow the Jets out of the water. And then there was like a weird body swap happened where like Patrick Mahomes started playing like Zach Wilson and Zach Wilson started playing like Patrick Mahomes. And then we still could have covered, but Patrick Mahomes did the smart thing and slid down instead of walking in for a touchdown late in the game. He slid down because he knew they could run the clock out once he got a first down. Could have walked into the end zone for a touchdown and covered the spread too, but he did the smart thing in that situation, slowed down. So I think I got the handicap right on that one, but the weird universal things of the body swap and the slide down played against me in that one. We'll finish out these picks and we'll go back and look back at last week. I forgot to look at last week's pick. So I got Chiefs -3.5. I just think the Vikings stink and the Chiefs will want to come out and show something after kind of being a little wonky against the Jets. Speaking of the Jets and the Broncos, the Nathan Hackett revenge game. Everybody on the Jets wants to stick up for Nathaniel Hackett after Sean Payton was kind of crude and talked bad about him as a coach and stuff like that. Here's what's lost in the shuffle that Nathaniel Hackett sucks. He was an idiot. And guess who else the Jets have on their sideline? Another idiot, Todd Downing. They've got like the worst offensive coaching staff you could have imaginable. I think whatever got into Zach Wilson last week was a flash in the pan. He turned back into a pumpkin and fumbled the ball late to give the game away. So I think we see the real Zach Wilson here. Zach Wilson? Am I getting mixed up here? Did I mix up his name earlier? I don't know. Whoever he is, the Mormon kid, I think he's going to suck this week. Russell Wilson has been okay for the Broncos. He hasn't been the disaster he was last season. Their defense has been not very good, and it seems like they're going into tank mode, though, because they already traded Gregory, their defensive end, earlier this week, and there's rumors they're going to be trading more players before the season's out. So I weirdly like the Broncos more in this game, but there's just flashes and signs that they have given up on the season, and that's got to trickle down to the roster. Like the players that are still there, you see players start to get traded away. You start to see the roster get dismantled, and you have to kind of say, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And you got to feel like, why not? Why should I try? The rest of the team's given up. Why should I try? So I don't know. Maybe that little weird extra motivation of win-win for Nathaniel Hackett and them having a pretty solid defense will come through for them here. But I don't know. I could see Zach Wilson throwing like 7 interceptions in this game, but this feels stupid. But based on my power rankings, I have the Jets ranked higher than the Broncos. So I think I have to go by my power rankings in this situation and go Jets plus 2.5. I spent way too much time talking about that terrible game. Sunday Night Football, this game is going to be awesome. Cowboys, 49ers. 49ers, 3.5-point favorite at home. It's going to be an awesome game. Probably the best game of the season so far. Looking forward to watching this one later tonight. It's like a little homage, throwback, reminding you of the 90s when I was a kid. This was always like the biggest game of the season. It's practically guaranteed to be the NFC Championship game every year. I'm going to take the better coach. I'm going to take the better quarterback. I don't know if I'm taking the better quarterback. I'm going to take the better coach. I'm going to take the overall better team. I'm going to go 49ers minus 3.5. Got a super sticker from Landon Jones. Lemon character and baby lemon blowing a party horn while marching. I don't know what that means, but he gave me $5. So you give me $5, you get featured on the chat. Last game to predict, we've got Packers, Raiders at Las Vegas. Raiders look like a disaster. The Packers look like they might be okay to mediocre. Not going to overthink this one. I'm going to take the Packers plus 2. I'm going to show Landon Jones's other comment too. He's blowing up the chat right now. They're always mixed up. I am. I'm a very confused person. And he also said, "Ayo." All right, so now let's go back and get things in the correct order. And let's look at last week's picks, because last week did not go as well as the first couple weeks that I was doing these picks on the live stream. So hopefully we can turn it around this week. Although I don't bet all these. I only bet like 2 or 3 of these. These are just what I would bet if I was going to bet. 7 and 8 last week was what we went. So we've been above 500 the first 2 weeks of picks, and then last week came back down to earth and slipped down to just below 500. But I mean, 7 and 8's respectable at least. Like it's hard to pick these games. The NFL is like a very difficult league to predict. So let's go through. What did we do last week? All right, here we go. Last week's predictions. Started out 0-3 to start the week last week. Falcons plus 3. They got killed in London. Dolphins plus 2.5. They got killed in Buffalo. Eagles minus 9. They had to go to overtime to beat the Commanders. 3 losses right out of the gate right there. Bengals minus 2.5. They got killed. 4 straight losses to start the week. Vikings minus 4.5. They ended up winning comfortably, but they at times did not look comfortable against the Panthers. They stink. But that was a win for us. Steelers minus 3, they got demolished. That was a loss. Browns minus 1.5, they got demolished. That was a loss. We were on the wrong side of a lot of blowouts last week. Rams minus 1, got that one right. That one should have been a lot more comfortable than it was, honestly, because the Rams were up like 23-0 at one point in time and let the Colts sneak back into it, but then still ended up winning. Bucks 3.5, that continues the trend. I'm on the Bucks train. The stories were coming out this week. People are starting to jump on my Baker Mayfield hype train. There was reports out that at the end of training camp, he took the offensive line to the Bahamas as like a celebratory, we made it through training camp thing. People are saying that he's always being seen out and about in Tampa. He's like at dive bars with his wide receivers. He's going to like the Tampa Bay Rays games. He's going to other like events around town. And I was thinking about this, like the dive bars, going to the Bahamas, stuff like that. What does that got to be for? It's got to be like almost like a weird relief, a weird change of pace going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield. Like I'm sure everybody would want Tom Brady as a teammate because he's super driven, super competitive. You know you're going to be in every game. You know you're going to have a chance to win championships. But that high level of competitiveness, it's got to wear on his teammates a little bit sometimes. And the kind of after a game, being like, "Oh, hey Tom, you want to go to the bar and grab a couple of brewskis?" And him being like, "Oh no, I do they have a avocado martini with a side of um, hydrated water or something like that?" Whatever TB12 method version of going out to a bar would be. It's got to be a relief to these players to have like more of a laid back guy who's still got that competitive drive. Like there was a funny clip going around where Baker Mayfield said something too vulgar for me to say on the channel, but you can see how competitive and how hyped up he is. So you still got that element, but you got the more laid back, more normal, down to earth, cool guy that wants to hang around with his buddies, be buddies with the team type of thing. So I like everything that's happening in Tampa. I think they're going to win the NFC South pretty comfortably. I don't know if they're like, going to be a Super Bowl contender or anything like that, but I think they're going to have a lot better season than everybody thought they were. And I've been saying that all season long. So I've been early to that train, but I had them plus 3.5 against the Saints last week. They demolished the Saints. That was easy. Bears plus 3.5 against the Broncos. Should have won that game, blew it, but ended up covering still. So good there. Chargers minus 4.5. That was an easy cover against the Raiders. Cardinals plus 14. Like I said, this is the game where things fell apart for me, where my Cardinals pick and maybe the 49ers are just that dadgum good. That loss. Dallas minus 6 against the Patriots. Easy cover, easy win. Chiefs, this is the game I was talking about. Minus 9 favorites. We're up like 17-0 at one point in time. Then just the weird body swap universe change things happened. Taylor Swift maybe did some witch magic from the clouds. I don't know what happened. They ended up winning by like 3. Could have won by more, but like I said, Patrick Mahomes could have walked into the end zone on the last drive of the game, but all he needed was the first down, so he just slid down, took it. Jaguars just scored and went for 2. That was weird. Why'd they go I guess they got the penalty, so it gave them an extra yardage on the 2-point line. So 8-0 Buffalo. I'll take the extra point there for the extra 2-point conversion instead of 1 point for my over bet. Yeah, so the Chiefs, the universe screwed me on that one. That one should have been a pick. We should have been 8-7 to win the week. Seahawks minus 2, an easy cover against the Giants. The Giants are terrible. So losing week overall, but the universe screwed me on that Chiefs game for sure. All right, that's it. We're wrapping up the sports content. No more discussion of football. Those are my picks. There's a review of the picks from last week. Gave my power rankings, gave my thoughts on the Titans-Colts game. Let's get into what is coming up here on the channel next week. Don't really fully know exactly what the schedule is going to look like. It's going to be a weird week. So Monday, Tuesday, I'm here in Nashville, normal, standard, everything the way you'd expect it to be. So don't know what videos will be coming out, but we'll have videos coming out those 2 days. Then Wednesday, fly to London. Terrible flight plan. The flight plan they got us on is going to be atrocious because we fly to Dallas, have a layover in Dallas, then fly from Dallas to London. I don't know why. This is booked through like a travel company. I think it was booked through a travel company that the Titans brought in to let fans book the trip. So through the Titans, but through a third party, got us flying to Dallas and then flying to London from Dallas. I almost kind of thought like, I don't know if there's like old Titans fans or like, I know like there's another Titans YouTuber, Mr. Titan, who lives in Texas. So that I saw him tweet about maybe going to London. And I was like, oh, maybe there's like the old Oilers fans that still follow the Titans down in Texas. Maybe they thought some of them will get on the plane down there. And I don't know. I don't know why, but it seems like it's going to stink for us to have to fly to Dallas, then fly to London. That's going to make for an extra long flight than it was already going to be. Flight back's not so bad. We fly to Philadelphia, then fly from Philadelphia to Nashville. But fly over there Wednesday. We leave Wednesday like noonish, I think. And then we're scheduled to land local time, I think like 7:45 in the morning, Thursday in London. So this is where it's going to be crazy. You got to like really work on getting some sleep on the plane to not have just like devastating jet lag the whole time we're there. Because that's one of the things that kind of stinks about it. It's like a really short trip because we were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fly back Monday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, really 3 full days in London. There all day Sunday, but the Titans Ravens game that we're going to is like 2:30 local time. So it's smack in the middle of the day. It's basically going to take up the entire day because there's a pregame party for fans who are there with the travel group. Game will be at 2:30. It'll go about 6 or 7. So by the time we get out of the game, it'll be nighttime. It'll be not really time to go out and do anything in London. So the game's going to take up all day Sunday. So then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be the kind of get out, see London, do things in London while we're there days. Interesting things. I don't know how much I'm actually going to do because I'm going with my family, my aunt, my uncle, my cousin. So I'm kind of like defaulting to what they want to do on a lot of stuff, because I've been to London before. They never have. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that I've already done that they're going to want to do. And I'm not going to be a jerk and be like, oh, I've already seen the crown jewels. We don't need to see those again. I'll go with the flow. But there are definitely some interesting things that are going on in London that I may try to check out if I can make it work. The England national team has a game on Saturday while we're there at Wembley. That'd be pretty cool to go to. The lower division teams, championship level teams, League Two level teams, all will be playing games. Might try to find a game like that to go to while we're over there. There's probably going to be hundreds of games going on in London, soccer-wise. I don't know why this popped in my head the other day, but it occurred to me because I think I saw like they tweeted out like the tour poster for their stop in Amsterdam or something like that. And I was like, hey, Blink-182's in Europe right now. I wonder when they're going to be in London. And Blink-182 is going to be in London Wednesday and Thursday of this coming week. So Thursday, the first full day that I'm in London, that night, Blink-182 is playing the O2 Arena in London. And I got to tell you, the ticket prices for Blink in London are like crazy low compared to what they were here in Nashville. Like Nashville, it was like thousands of dollars for floor seats. London, you can get a floor seat for like $120. So those are some things that I'm thinking about doing, but those are probably, I don't want to say unlikely, but maybe long shots, just because I know my aunt and my uncle aren't going to want to go to Blink-182. I don't think anybody else in the family is going to want to go to a soccer game. So we'll see. Like if they're jet lagged and they're like, we're going to bed at 5 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, I'm up. I'm going to Blink-182. We'll see. But we're going to have 3 full days to kind of explore and do stuff in London. So there'll be all kinds of videos that'll come out of that. And then obviously the game will be Sunday, Titans and Ravens at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But I don't know what the video release schedule will look like in that regard. Like I've never uploaded videos while I was out of the country. Like usually when me and Jessica do our trip to either Mexico or last year to Jamaica, I didn't edit and upload while we were there. I was more just filmed and put stuff out the following week, like on delay. So I've got some stockpiled stuff to try to keep on daily if for whatever reason, if I get over to England and hotel Wi-Fi or the way internet exists in England doesn't work the same here. I don't even know. That's how weird it is. I don't know if I'll be able to fully like upload videos from England while I'm in England. So it might be just some like evergreen stockpiled videos that I've made over the last couple of weeks to get ready for this. So you might start seeing some London videos next week, or you might just see some random hodgepodge of videos. But there will be videos coming out every day nonetheless. And we're going to have some fun in London. So those videos will come either next week or down the road. But either way, stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel with the bell turned on for notifications. Appreciate everybody who watches, and we'll see you in